And Nakai gets silver as rugby and cricket cranes impress at the African Games. Good evening once again and welcome. President Museveni has promised to remove the Fisheries Protection Unit from the water bodies and hand over the administration of fishing communities to the elders. The president, who is also the national chairman of the National Resistance Movement, made the remarks at Amatiburu Primary School in Kangai Sub-County, Dokolo District, as he campaigned for Janet Adongo Rose Elau, the party flag bearer for Dokolo District Women Parliamentary Seat by-elections.
Therefore, in the month of May or June, I want you, the people who are near the lakes, to guide me, to get the elders of this area. They should be the ones to tell us who is spoiling the fish, so that the lake, so that the army can go away and the people themselves look after the. In the month of May, in the month of May, I will meet the elders. And then you should tell me, somebody, the people, the Minister of Northern Uganda can coordinate them. Tell me the elders on this side and Nakasongola side and Busoga side. We shall have a conference and then we can remove the soldiers and they take over, hand over.
Now, government has directed a countrywide inspection of all education institutions with a directive to all district inspectors to close with immediate effect all those operating boarding schools illegally. The State Minister in charge of primary education, Dr. Joyce Kaduchu, said this during the education exhibition at Kololo Independence Grounds.
Minister Kaduchu said that Directorate of Schools Standards and Schools Inspectors have been directed to enforce closure of any primary school, nursery school, early childhood development operating a boarding section without minimum standards. Kaduchu asserts that government will not just look as pupils die in school fires due to negligence of school heads who continue to flout school boarding regulations.
District education officers, the city education officers, municipal education officers and the school inspectors to move in the entire country in their respective districts. In the event they found a school that is really beyond what is called a school, the school that does not meet the minimum standard, not even having any provisional registration, that school must be closed. And the children should go to nearby schools. We cannot continue to lose the lives of our children because schools cannot meet the bare minimum requirement, especially boarding schools.
Meanwhile, education exhibitors applauded the competence-based curriculum that the Education Ministry introduced by revealing that it has brought practical innovations closer than ever.
I think they're going to be very practical because the current education system ensures that we do hands-on projects
in the new curriculum, because like in the old curriculum I've never seen such a jacket, but it's due to this new curriculum that we have started making these things.
Crispus Arinitwe, Stephen Kalishia, UBC News.
The Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, has extended her condolences and support to 4 grieving families in Busia, offering 5 million shillings per family for the loss of their children in a tragic fire incident and 1 million shillings for the child who sustained injuries at Victory Nursery and Primary School in Busia Municipality earlier this week. The ministry teams conducted inspections at the affected schools, including Victory Nursery School and Primary School and Bill and Polly Nursery and Primary School in Mariachi B South East Ward, Eastern Division, Busia Municipality. Consequently, the closure of these schools has been ordered until further notice. Janet Museveni's message, convened by Ms. Frances Atima, Director of Education Standards, emphasizes the ministry's efforts to disseminate and share basic requirements with local leaders, assuming compliance. She underscores the significant role of locals in ensuring schools meet these standards, particularly in Busia, where the ministry has provided guidelines and specific tools despite having basic requirements and minimum standards in place.
We have 4 deckers, some are triple deckers. There is no ventilation at all. You saw the other ones which had 4 beds. All instance it's operating illegally. And as we have seen, the environment is insecure for safety and security of the learners. So we cannot condone and we cannot even recommend that they are given time. No. Discussed with leadership that the ministry, in spite having the basic requirements, have unpacked the basic requirements and minimum standards into guidelines and a specific tool which they can use to evaluate whether these schools meet the standards or not. So what has been happening is when people move in smaller teams, they don't comprehensively make a quick judgment, or the judgment is somehow challenged because of other, what can I say, maybe other people within who may not agree. But now if people move as a team and they sit together, the mayor, the technical team, the police, the RDC's office and our team, I think we'll be able to make better decisions and more comprehensive decisions.
The Honorable Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Oryem Henry Okello, has this afternoon received copies of letters of credence presented to him by the Ambassador Designate of Japan, His Excellency Takuya Sasayama. The ambassador has worked in the Japanese Foreign Service since 1988 and arrives in Uganda as Ambassador Designate, replacing Ambassador Fukuzawa Hidemoto, and having previously served as Consul General of Japan in Toronto. He had duty tours in Washington, D.C., Seoul, Mexico, Kuala Lumpur, Ottawa, and Egypt. He relayed warm greetings from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan, who fondly remembered the kind reception he received during his visit to Uganda in 2023. Honorable Okello welcomed Ambassador Sasayama to Uganda, hailing the long historical friendship with Japan and highlighting Japan's generosity to the people of Uganda through technical assistance programs under the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICO, and the Tokyo International Conference for African Development. Now, the Ministry of Local Government has been blamed for lack of coordination of the failed agro-processing facilities allocated in the Community Agricultural Infrastructure Improvement Program. Engaging with the Parliamentary Committee on Public Service and Local Government, members of the committee cited misinformation and lack of monitoring of the facilities at community levels. We have more details.
Government, through the Ministry of Local Government, formulated a program commonly referred to as the Community Agriculture Infrastructure Improvement Program in 2006. The intention was to enhance the commercialization of agriculture as well as improve on market access. Ministry of Local Government, and Operation Wealth Creation has faced the Parliamentary Committee on Public Service and Local Government to give a report on the status and utilization of the agro-processing facilities phase.
We know that much as the intention of government was very clear, looks like the expectations have not been met, because majority of these facilities, the agro-processing facilities, have not lived to the expectation, have not played the role that were expected to.
Presenting to the committee, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Local Government, Benjamin Kumumanya, attributed how government allocated 279 agro-processing facilities, where 60% of these were operational, while 40% non-operational due to various challenges.
The concept of private sector. Even today, we have been in the base of bringing in private sector. These CAIPs were based on engaging private sector. They came in and went out, and we were not ready for any alternative because they had been built that the local governments will hand them over to operators. Operators went in and moved out.
The members of the committee, however, cautioned the Ministry of Local Government on the mismanagement and lack of coordination of the project.
Since earlier on you realized that we are missing that coordination, the overall coordination. And this, our chair, I would have expected now to give us a hint that given all this, given what we've been going through, and given what is taking place in the country, we have come up with this plan.
Some members of the committee asked officials from the ministry on whether they had been following the program operations of the facilities at ground level.
It looks like a lot of the information, with the exception of what you provided, do not reflect the true picture.
Have we been following the operationalization of these units?
Despite challenges, the interventions have greatly promoted local economic development through enhancing capacities for food security.
In certain areas, we have recommended that now, since we have those equipment, we could probably move a step and recommend for uplifting that facility to also provide for value addition.
Stakeholders recommend strengthening institutional coordination and corroboration of quality and sustainable delivery and utilization of agro-processing facilities. Lydia Chomkama and Dan Lugemwa, Parliament.
Now, police have arrested 3 suspects in connection with the murder of a security guard, Agama Peter, who was working with the Wolves security group and guarding Bansel Forex Bureau. Police state that while on duty guarding the bureau, unknown assailants riding on a motorcycle shot Mr. Agama, killing him and taking away his gun. 2 guns have been recovered and investigations into the tragic incident are still ongoing. Luka Wesijide, the deputy spokesperson, Kampala Metropolitan, confirms the incident.
3 suspects apprehended in connection with the murder and aggravated robbery. On the evening of March 19th, 2024, a tragic incident unfolded in Kabusurbaga division, where 3 assailants on motorcycles armed with a rifle perpetrated a heinous act, resulting in the loss of life of Mr. Agama Peter, a security guard affiliated with the Wolves security groups. Mr. Agama, a male adult approximately 36 years, was fatally shot while on duty at Brexel Forex Bureau in Kabusu branch, and his firearm was forcibly taken. Eyewitnesses report the swift departure of the assailants, leaving Mr. Agama fatally wounded. Swift action was taken by law enforcement and security agencies following the incident. A pursuit of the suspect ensued, culminating in the apprehension at Kawala zone at Premier Betting. We can confirm that Sebu Hussein, also known as Obote, Lumba David and Abdallah Juma, have been taken into custody. 2 firearms were recovered during the operation that was belonging to the deceased, which had 13 rounds, and also another firearm we suspect was used in the murder of Gama was also recovered. The investigation into the incident is ongoing and further details will be made available in due course. The deceased, Mr. Gama, both 3 gunshot wounds and evidence recovered from the crime scene will be meticulously examined as part of the process of investigation. The body was conveyed to City Mortuary Mulago for post-mortem. We extend our deepest condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Mr. Agama Peter during this difficult time.
Very tragic indeed. Now, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has highlighted programs to aid the implementation of the program-based budget. The Managing Director of UBC, Winston Agaba, has addressed the Parliamentary Committee on Information, Communication and Technology, presenting the priority programs including promotion of internal tourism, improving radio signals and increasing the programming for the NDP3. Agaba, however, told the MPs that UBC needs to be funded in order to reach the projected results. According to UBC, requires about 173 billion to execute its full mandate in the forthcoming 2024-2025 budget, including 10.322 billion to cater for the wages,
which they have already started on.
Different government ministries, departments and agencies are having interactions with the various committees of Parliament to defend the ministerial policy statements for the next financial year 2024-2025. The Minister of State for Information, Communication and National Guidance, Joyce Sebugwao, accompanied the line agencies including UBC to the Parliamentary Committee on ICT. Sebugwao shared with the MPs the projected interventions to enhance digital transformation in Uganda.
Implementation of last mile rollout and the connectivity of broadband. 2. Connecting all essential service centers such as schools, hospitals, tourism sites, police, and local governments to the national backbone.
The Managing Director of UBC, Winston Agaba, has reiterated to Parliament how underfunding of UBC has affected the planned activities of service delivery.
Under digital terrestrial transmission for the TV signal, we were hoping that would be at 95%, but we are at about 56%, which is not good. And that's why we are emphasizing that direct to home is the way to go if we are to address the needs of people who can watch free to air without subscribing to the pay TV platforms.
MD Agaba tasked the MPs to interest themselves in the program areas where UBC is not captured under the program-based budgeting. Agaba decried the earmarked 2.7 billion to UBC, which he says cannot avail the leverage to execute the intended mandate in ensuring the success of the programs.
Our strong view is that we have to be represented in all the program areas because they all feed into the goals that are looked at to transform this country.
You mentioned about the 30 billion, which the president directed that it should be given to UBC. But up to now, that 30 billion hasn't been given to UBC.
Accordingly, Agaba has highlighted priorities including improving radio signals, increasing programming, and promoting local tourism.
And this tourism sector is something that is overlooked many times, but we believe that internal tourism alone has to be attracted through the broadcasters, not only foreign tourists, but internal tourism. Because when you look at the tourism figures, Uganda will contribute the highest number of tourists going to Kenya. And all that money is an outflow from our economy. Yet, we have so many facilities within the country. So internal tourism to us is a big thing, and we believe the national broadcaster will have a big stake in this.
The ICT committee was also informed about the funding gaps, including 10.322 billion for wages, 4.2 billion to deliver free-to-air services in both radio and TV, 3.36 billion for Signet, 1.5 billion for satellite fees, and 6 billion for outside broadcasting van.
The common good that we dispense should not be looked at as being pegged onto a business venture of saying when do you break even and when do you start making profit. However, we are cognizant of the fact that yes, whatever investment is put into UBC, the new thinking, and the board has come up with the new thinking, is how do we leverage on all the assets that we hold?
But how you present yourself to use this money is the question that Parliament is raising, and what would come out of it, out of that investment. Because Parliament is saying for quite a long time you put money in UBC, but it's like a basket without end.
UBC requires about 173 billion in its policy statements presented to the MPs. MD Agaba also highlighted on the need to complete the digital migration project and to secure high-level equipment.
Replacing all the outdated and obsolete softwares that we have been talking about and equipment, this is 14.48 billion. And Honorable Chair, if we are to go ahead and complete the digital migration, because at the time 2017 when we migrated, we did not migrate 100%. We didn't have all the equipment that was needed. Like we did mention here, there's no redundancy at all the sites. It's only one standalone transmission in all the 17 sites. We need to complete this, and it requires 98.58 billion.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Police in Wakiso district are currently investigating a distressing incident involving Dr. Andrew Obuku's dog, which escaped from its kennel and fatally attacked his seven-month-old baby, leading to the tragic death of the child. The dog also inflicted injuries on a newly recruited maid. We have the details in this report.
The tragic event occurred at Dr. Obuku's residence in Kanan Estate, Narugala Maugulu Cell, Katabi Town Council in Wakiso District. Residents of Maugulu in Katabi Town Council were left in shock on Monday morning when Dr. Obuku and his wife were away at work and the aggressive dog broke free from its enclosure, resulting in the fatal mauling of the infant and injuries to the maid-style dog attacked the baby, leading to its death, and also harmed the newly recruited maid, identified as Sharon Nuwarinda. Dr. Chabagu Martin, the veterinary officer, Katabi Town Council, highlighted factors such as stress, anxiety, and inadequate care, which can lead to dogs becoming hostile.
You know, some of these stress factors can arise from things like not giving them food on time, maybe extreme confinement, they become uncomfortable, sometimes not giving them water on time.
Osobola osanga embwa nga tegemwangako myaka 2 weeri terwalanga rabies, naye n'osanga embwa yawe weeri ebadde awo ennaku 3 yalwala omusujja, oluusi n'eddagala lye bazikuba n'etabuka n'ekola ebikolwa ebimu nga omutwe gwayo tegutegeera bulungi.
He also mentioned the council's stray animal policy, under which dog owners are fined for allowing their pets to roam freely.
When you are bringing probably a dog for guarding purposes, what you should make sure you are targeting is that dog, first of all, to know the occupants of that home.
Not the first instance of the dog exhibiting aggressive behavior, according to authorities. Police have launched an investigation to determine the underlying cause of the incident.
More details will be availed as soon as possible, but what we know is that the dog was confirmed at the scene by the police and 2 puppies in different cages. We have not yet ascertained how the dog got out, whether it was by force or it was by negligence of the caretaker.
The deceased infant's body was transported to Mulago City Mortuary for post-mortem examination, while the injured maid was taken to Entebbe Police Station for her safety.
Very tragic indeed. Now, in more news this evening, delegates from Burundi's National Drug Authority are currently visiting Uganda's National Drug Authority to exchange knowledge on testing protocols for rubber products like condoms and test tubes. Their focus is on understanding Uganda's procedure for drug and medical device importation and exportation. Board Chairman, National Drug Authority, Dr. Medard Bitecherezo, assured the delegates of comprehensive insights they would gain into drug testing methodologies. During the two-day visit, delegates will tour drug laboratories and international airports, witnessing the National Drug Authority's rigorous testing processes firsthand. This experience aims to equip Burundian delegates with practical knowledge to enhance drug safety measures in their jurisdiction.
The idea they have come to Uganda to benchmark with NDA on issues related to testing of rubber, mainly gloves and condoms. Also, they are interested in knowing how does Uganda and NDA handle imports and exports of drugs and medical devices and sundries and other things used in the health sector. And as NDA and as members of the East African community, we are very happy to be giving a hand to the National Drug Regulatory Agency of Burundi. 2 days, they will be in the laboratories in Mulago, and they also engage with our directors here, plus our people who are handling exports and imports at airports, and even here at our ports or other ports of entry. And I have a belief that the people from Burundi will learn too much from us, because Uganda's National Drug Authority is a world-class regulatory agency when it comes to GMP inspection. That is good manufacturing practices.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories after these messages.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock on my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
Have you packed Morvin's Harbour Jelly and Harbour Fog? Yes, we packed. It will protect your skin from skin rashes. Morvin's pack. It is a new improved Morvin's Harbour Jelly.
100%. Any irritations? No more rashes and irritations. Movit Herbal Jelly and Herbal Soap is rich in natural herbs for a smooth and glowing skin.
Movit All Day Confidence.
Hi Fifi, how are you?
I'm fine. Baby, whenever I eat chips and chicken, I feel stomachache, joint pain and body weakness.
My dear, go to Timex Nutrition Center and learn the best food for your body. And get treatment according to your blood group.
Are you sure?
Yes.
By the way, do you know your blood group, genotype, and how much you need to exercise? Come to Timex Nutrition Center for professional advice on how to manage your health and immune boosting. At Timex, we treat diseases like diabetes, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, pressure, and many more. For details, find us at our headquarters in Kampala on Nasa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor. We also have a branch in Barara, or call us on 0758 819952 or 0778 288361. Timex, be your own doctor.
Welcome back from that break. Now in more news this evening, civil society organizations under the umbrella of Uganda Water and Sanitation Network are urging all Ugandans to commence tree planting activities nationwide to counteract the effects of shifting climate patterns and safeguard the environment. These CSOs have further called upon the government to enforce presidential directives aimed at prohibiting charcoal burning and settlements in swamp areas.
3 weeks, Uganda and other nations have witnessed soaring temperatures, a phenomenon attributed by environmentalists to ongoing environmental degradation. According to civil society organizations advocating for sanitation and water, the shifting climate patterns result from widespread environmental degradation, including swamp settlements, deforestation for charcoal production, and other detrimental activities.
It has moved from climate change. It is now climate boiling. I think the heat is no longer heating us, it is rather boiling us. What are we doing? Are we just going to speak? Can we get engaged in tree planting exercises?
It is imperative to prioritize tree planting and enforce presidential directives on charcoal burning to preserve and restore the environment. The water and sanitation activists commend the government and Ministry of Water for their ongoing efforts in supplying water across the country.
Our government for the effort they are taking to improve water supply management both in the rural areas and the urban centers. However, when it comes to sanitation, we as a civil society, we are pledging to play a supporting role, complementing the work of the government, Ministry of Water and Environment, Ministry of Health, to improve the sanitation coverage.
We as CSOs, we are looking at how are we supporting the government to improve all these blocks of wash system.
However, the implementing CSOs emphasize that urgent action is required for Uganda to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, particularly concerning water and sanitation.
To honor its promise to remove taxes on sanitary pads. The Uganda government promised to remove taxes on sanitary pads to improve access, but it has failed to honor this pledge.
To develop the national sanitation policy, but also to introduce the national cleaning days. I would urge that as Ugandans, we don't need to wait for the national cleaning days. Can we start cleaning?
Not that sometimes it's not just a matter of just having a latrine. We are saying we want quality latrine facilities in the communities, because if they're not quality, they cannot stand the weather if impacts of weather right now.
This year's Water and Sanitation Day theme, Sanitation and Hygiene for All, will be celebrated in Kakumiro. I'm Nafka Farida and Joseph Moyengo.
And indeed, with this, I concur. Let's plant more trees and also safeguard our environment, because for the last few days, the weather has not been pretty at all. But in more news this evening, in commemoration of the holy month of Ramadan, UAP, Old Mutual Life Assurance and Old Mutual Investment Group have generously donated food items worth 13 million Uganda shillings to the Muslim community. The presentation ceremony unfolded at Nakawa Business Park.
Representatives from various mosques were present to receive the donation, symbolizing solidarity and support for those observing Ramadan.
As a company, we like to identify with the community. As part of our corporate social responsibility, it's something we continue to do as a company and shall continue to work with our communities to help our communities, but most importantly, is to transform the lives of our communities.
Sheikh Muhammad Katamba from Chikandwa Mosque, Sheikh Boji from Chitagoba Mosque, and Imam Musa from Naguru Masjid gracefully accepted the donation on behalf of their respective communities.
And we hope that in future they will still come to us. And I would like to thank especially Ms. Halima, who came around and gave us the invitation.
Stephen Dubowa, the head of distribution and marketing for UAP Old Mutual Life Assurance, expressed the company's commitment to giving back to the communities it serves.
We shall continue reaching out to different communities out there to give out similar items, but also most importantly, showing them that we are with them during the holy month as a sign of appreciation, but also as a sign of our contribution to the communities where we live, where we serve, because we know that they are the communities that harbor our existing customers, future customers, as well as our employees.
Simon Mwebaze, the managing director of Old Mutual Investment, underscored the significance of community in nurturing unity and inclusivity.
We don't take such things for granted. We actually stand with you, with the community that you're serving, to just encourage you and know that everything that you're praying for, we're also praying for the same things, to see that we have a better and prosperous country, to see that everything is working properly, business is booming, and that is our humble prayer.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
The Ugandan government has been urged to prioritize and uphold voter privacy to safeguard individual rights, ensure the legitimacy and foster fairness in the elections, especially the upcoming 2026 general elections on the horizon. Now, this call comes amidst concerns of manipulations and unauthorized access to voter information for vote rigging observed in previous elections. The message was conveyed during the launch of the third Unwanted Witness Privacy Moot competition at the Islamic University in Uganda, Kampala campus.
After every general election, dissatisfaction often leads some candidates to seek recourse in courts of law, citing grievances such as vote rigging, voter bribery, and manipulation. These issues are often attributed to the lack of voter privacy, allowing unauthorized access to voter data, which can be manipulated by certain individuals. In efforts to enhance data privacy and promote electoral integrity, the third Unwanted Witness Moot Court competition has been launched, focusing on ensuring a democratic electoral process.
We all know that elections by setting are hugely data-driven. For you to participate in any election, you ought to part with personal data through registration, voter verification, results transfer, and by consistently having debates around this, we believe that Uganda and Kenyan elections or electoral laws will have a reflection of such.
There is a pressing need for amendments of electoral reforms and laws to ensure transparency regarding access to voter data in Uganda.
We want to see an amendment in those laws through this moot. And that's why we are holding that pre-moot conference in Nairobi. We want to push for electoral reforms that reflect privacy safeguards. Currently, our electoral laws, yes, they reflect the use of technology, but they don't reflect privacy safeguards in those technologies.
But it's also culture in the sense that increasingly individuals feel that they need more control, more autonomy of their personal data. They need to be able to decide, to choose who does what with their personal data.
Unlike the previous moot editions, where only Ugandan universities participated, This year, Kenyan universities, through the Kenya section of the International Commission of Jurists, ICJ Kenya, will also be involved.
I presume that all the 17 universities in Kenya will qualify, and all the 12 universities in Uganda will what? Qualify. So we might have well about 30 universities in the entire competition. Okay? So registration opens on the 3rd of April.
The winners of the second Unwanted Witness Moot Court competition from IU University Kampala campus shared their thoughts on the matter.
For us, winning the competition meant that it was the beginning of a new level of greatness for us as law students, but also as people that are pursuing a career out there.
The right to privacy, if the right to privacy is not respected, trust me, one way or another, freedom of association is going to be eroded, freedom of movement is going to be eroded. So the right to privacy is many things.
Islamic University in Uganda, specifically Kampala campus, is more than ready and determined to host the preliminary rounds for these competitions.
The third Unwanted Witness Privacy Moot competition themed safeguarding electoral integrity, upholding voter privacy in democratic processes, promises to address critical issues surrounding electoral privacy. Rebecca Nantongo, Kenneth Tanaba, UBC News.
Ministry of Water and Environment has received 13 hydrological monitoring stations to facilitate in the monitoring of Lake Victoria water levels as well as the Nile River. The $700,000 worth equipment has been installed in different spots in Lake Victoria, courtesy of the Nile Basin Initiative. While handing over documents for the hydrological monitoring stations, Dr. Florence Adong expressed optimism that the stations will strengthen regional hydrological monitoring activities and applications in Uganda and the Nile Basin as a whole.
With the stroke of this pen, Uganda is a recipient of 13 hydrological monitoring system stations that were constructed for Ministry of Water and Environment by Nile Basin Initiative with support from the European Union and the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation.
These stations are strategically located for great significance for water resources assessment, planning, flood early warning information, shipping and navigation, guidance, and ecosystem services monitoring.
If well utilized, the regional hydrological monitoring systems will strengthen regional hydrological monitoring activities, thus give real-time prevention measures to challenges faced by the water and environment sector.
I therefore would like to challenge the national team and experts to leverage the system and demonstrate the value of these investments through generation and utilization of information for water resources assessment, for national planning, for flood warning, and shipping advisory services for navigation. So this means that this data must be shared with the respective related institutions.
The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Water and Environment, Alfred Okot Okidi, received the equipment on behalf of his ministry.
As we accept the handover of these hydrometeorological stations and reflect on the achievements of the past 25 years, it is important to recognize that much work lies ahead. We must seize this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment, like cooperation, and explore innovative solutions to address the emerging challenges.
The newly acquired 13 hydrological monitoring system stations will be integrated in the already existing 172 hydrometers spread across the country. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Tension and fear have gripped teachers, parents and pupils at Kahi Primary School in Rukoni West Sub-County in Tungamo District due to the precarious state of classroom buildings. Teachers have taken the precautionary measure of relocating pupils to makeshift sheds under nearby trees to prevent accidents caused by collapsing blocks. Take a look.
Teachers, parents and pupils at Kahi Primary School in Rukoni West County, Ntungamo District, are living in total panic following the collapse of some classroom blocks. These classroom blocks, initially constructed by parents before government intervention, have now become unstable.
The few classrooms that we have here are too old, which were built by parents. They are only parents that had made their own way to make these classes. And the following, the smaller classes there, they are very few. They are very small in number. And pupils cannot sit in the classroom.
The government later constructed a 3-classroom block accommodating pupils from primary 5 to primary 7. As these classrooms began collapsing, teachers immediately opted to shift pupils to nearby tree shades to avoid debris from falling on them. The situation worsens wherever it rains.
When it rains, we join other pupils in their classes, like we can move from here to P7. You find a class very congested, but to survive those situations, we have to shift from here to where the class is.
The dire situation prompted parents to initiate the construction of a temporary classroom block to shelter their children. However, the project stalled due to lack of funds.
Akasente tibakine aka school fees kwera school fees nabone bantu bakaronda kabuzire nk'ibyo cyaro ni mubimanya mwenu turemirwa.
Despite being a government aided school, Kahi Primary School, with a population of 464 pupils, lacks the necessary support to address these urgent challenges.
The school doesn't have staff accommodations. That's why you found teachers are coming late in the school, and that is a problem.
Teachers, parents and local leaders express concern about the deteriorating conditions of schools and urge the government to intervene promptly.
We don't collect money here. We're only using small money from the UPE. And the UPE has its own way to how to use it. You cannot put it into buildings. So we are challenged.
A few kilometers away lies Mirama Community Primary School, facing similar challenges. Pupils from primary 1 to primary 4 study in makeshift structures that pose a threat to their safety. Instead of government support for classroom construction, Mirama Community Primary School received a pit latrine.
They don't have where to sit. They run away. That means teaching and learning stops. So we are not in a stable environment that can facilitate teaching and learning of pupils.
Parents' efforts to construct a classroom block were hindered by financial constraints. District leaders were unreachable for comment, leaving urgent issues unaddressed.
Indeed. Now the family of the late Mary Immaculate Onebe has urged court to sentence the 2 accused persons, Francis Onebe, the deceased's husband, and security guard Bonnie, for life if found guilty of her murder. We have the details.
High Court Criminal Division, presided over by Judge Mike Rubu, continues the hearing of the murder case of Mary Immaculate Onebe. The accused persons in this matter include Oriokoti Bonnie and Francis Onebe, the husband to the deceased. Prosecution witness number 9 Okero Chaus, former general manager of Pentagon Security Company Limited, testified that a search conducted at Onebe's residence led to the discovery of Mary Immaculate Onebe's body in a home septic tank.
The body was naked but with a black knicker. Across the neck, there was a wire which was tied in a cavera, with a holding a cavera.
UBC News Tonight takes another short break. I will return with more stories. Don't move an inch.
Ebisera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalipagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *858*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda.
Attention everyone, the Ministry of Health has planned to vaccinate all persons aged 1 year to 60 years old to protect them against yellow fever disease. The mass vaccination will take place in 53 districts in these regions: Kampala, Buganda, Teso, Ankole and Karamoja. Vaccination is free and available at all government health facilities and outreach posts in these regions. The vaccination campaign will take place from April 2nd to April 8th, 2024. The vaccine is safe, effective and free of charge and has been approved by World Health Organization and Ministry of Health. This message is from Ministry of Health with support from Gavi.
The 7th Uganda Water and Environment Week will take place from the 18th to the 22nd of March 2024 under the theme Rethinking Collective Action and Innovative Solutions to Water, Environment and Climate Change Crisis in Uganda at the Ministry of Water and Environment Headquarters in Luzira, Kampala. As part of the week, key sector international days, that is the World Water Day, International Forestry Day and the World Meteorological Day are commemorated. Various events such as panel discussions, site events, paper presentations and exhibitions will be organized for the sustainable ecosystem and the development of Uganda by different stakeholders on water and environment issues. Uganda Water and Environment Week 2024 is organized by the Ministry of Water and Environment through the Water Resources Institute with support from development partners. The week will be opened by the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Thomas Tayewa. For more information, visit our website at www.mwe.go.ug.
Are you planning or in the process of traveling abroad for work? Using irregular channels to find and travel for work abroad often seems cheaper and faster, but you risk being trafficked, mistreated, or forced to do work you did not agree to. Using proper channels is safer, offers more protection, and better access to support services when problems arise. Do not be deceived. Choose the proper channels. Always verify all information before traveling abroad for work by contacting the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, your local district labour office or DSOS office. You can also visit EEMIS website on eemis.mglsd.go.ug. This message is brought to you by the International Labour Organization with support from the Government of Switzerland.
Welcome back from that break. Now, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda has called for more focus and emphasis on the public financial management, citing some issues that need to be addressed. The Vice President, Ronald Mutumba, made remarks during the second Public Finance Management Conference held in Jinja.
In his statement, Mutumba underscored the importance of focusing on public finance management to ensure effective service delivery. At the conference, themed Public Finance Management for Enhanced Service Delivery, participants discussed actionable strategies for improving the public finance system to enhance service delivery. While speaking to the gathering, Derek Nkaja, the Executive Director, ICPAU, together with the Vice President of ICPAU, Ronald Mutumba, called for more focus and emphasis on the public financial management. Professor Vincent Bagire, the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research at MOBS, emphasized the crucial role of professional accountants in delivering quality services to the public.
Affect or drive performance for public finance management for enhanced service delivery. Let's remember our call that we operate in the public interest.
We need well-equipped hospitals so that we can prevent exorbitant healthcare referral costs. We need good roads that facilitate trade and connectivity. We need well-stocked schools which provide conducive environments for our learners and opportunities for the future. Around many Ugandans, we shall be feeling that service delivery is wanting, but we are part of the service delivery. That is what disturbs me. As I look at the other service deliveries where I'm saying the hospital, the roads, whatever, but I also sit in an office where Ugandans come to get various services.
The President, Pan-African Federation of Accountants, Keto Kayemba, expressed the need to train more professional accountants, hope to bring good services to the people.
What's important is the second word that I have pulled out of your theme, the word management. I'm a student of management, and that has been my specialization for years.
We have a huge job to do to ensure that, Professor, you certify more people, you produce more graduates, and they come and do more certification. We get more professionals. It's only through having so many professionals that we'll be able to provide the necessary services and the necessary trust that is needed for our economy to grow.
The conference targets accounting officers, policymakers, economists, members of parliament, development partners, certified public accountants, and members of the public, among others.
In the past, my people could predict the weather, but now the rules of nature have been rewritten. The commitment of taking care of your people and planet presents a challenge. A challenge that leads you into the unknown. Exploring untouched paradises, seemingly from another world. All of them connected by the water that flows downstream from the peak of the kingdom. And I can feel deeply how this mountain is suffering. A place where the purity of the air drives you to keep climbing upward. A treasure that we must all protect before it's lost forever.
Welcome back from that break, and now into the sports scene. At the 13th African Games happening in Ghana, the cricket cranes made history when they knocked out South Africa in the group stages. We have more details.
African Games happening in Ghana, the cricket cranes made history when they knocked out South Africa. The Cranes limited South Africa to 95 runs for 9 in 20 overs, and in the defense put on a nail-biting show to defeat South Africa by 2 wickets after scoring 99 runs for 8. Uganda completes the group stages with 3 wins and 6 points and moves on to the semi-finals to be played tomorrow.
I thought we did well to restrict them to a score under 100, and in the end that's what helped us win the game, but again, not as clinical as we would have liked to be when we came out to bat. But happy with the points. But we'll go back and reflect we don't have a lot of time to think about it, so we need to come out tomorrow strong and win that semi-finals.
In rugby, the Lady Rugby Cranes started off their campaigns with resounding victories against hosts Ghana and Tunisia, winning by 52-7 and 37-7 respectively. The Rugby Sevens also continued their good show with 2 wins, 24-14 against Burkina Faso and 22-5 against Ghana. Both teams now move to the top of their groups, with the men inching closer to gold.
The first game was a bit tough. Made some errors. Didn't play in our game plan. In the second game, we had to polish up to give it all, and it was like determining game for like we are going all out for the six wins.
Last night, Uganda's 800-meter runner Halima Nakai bagged silver in the 800-meter women's race after posting 1 minute, 58 seconds and 59 microseconds in a race won by Ethiopia's Tesige Duguma.
I've been feeling good. Yeah, I think I lost in the last meters, but it reached somewhere I was like, maybe I'm capable of winning a gold medal, but I think I tightened a bit in the last meters, so... Yeah, the season is too early. We are targeting the Olympics. So.
In football, the Uganda Hippos made it to the finals after a resilient fight against neighbours DRC, who they defeated 4-2. Tonight, Perth Chemtai, Harold Adoli and Tom Dradriga have a chance to bring medals home in athletics. Boxers Innocent Tumusime and Kasim Murunji are in the semi-finals that have already granted them a bronze, but will aim higher for silver or gold. So far, Uganda has won 9 medals.
And with that, UBC News Tonight comes to an end. Thank you so much for your company. Do enjoy much more of UBC Television's programming, and don't forget to watch the biggest show on the land, Behind the Headlines, with Timothy Nyangweso. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto, and my colleague Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language. We bid you farewell and good night.
UBC Inspire.